about the expansion of wild pigs, is that they're starting to make their way into the northeastern states, and they can't be stopped. They can survive in any weather. They breed 3 times a year. They're viable, I think, from the time they're 5 to 6 months old, they have their first litter.
Deep in the heart of Louisiana's Atchafalaya Basin, where ancient cypress trees hang heavy with Spanish moss, a silent nightmare is unfolding beneath the swamp water. What looks like an untouched natural paradise is actually a battleground for survival. Local hunter Bo Landry remembers the exact night everything changed. He froze as his flashlight beam caught 2 glowing crimson eyes cutting through the pitch-black fog. Out of the brush stepped a massive, razor-backed wild boar, its heavy tusks dripping with mud. In a flash, the creature tore through the marsh, leaving destroyed bird nests and crushed crocodile eggs in its wake. These invaders are not native to American soil. Brought here by Spanish explorers back in the 1500s, and later crossbred with Eurasian wild boars in the 1900s. This super hybrid species has taken over the South. They devour entire root systems, slaughter white-tailed deer fawns, and lay waste to millions of acres of land. But raw destruction is only half the story. Behind these beasts lies a terrifying biological self-replicating engine that defies standard mathematics. If you love deep-dive survival stories and want to unlock the darkest secrets of the wild, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community. When biologists look at the wild hog crisis, they do not just see an invasive animal. They see a biological, relentless engine running completely out of control. In the natural world, big mammals reproduce at a slow, measured pace. A mother deer gives birth to 1 or 2 fawns a year. A black bear gives birth every 2 years. But the wild boar operates on an entirely different scale. A single sow can produce 2 litters every single year, with 5 to 6 piglets per litter. Under ideal conditions, a feral hog population can double its total numbers in just 4 short months. That is not just fast. That is a geometric explosion that leaves ecologists completely helpless. Where are you watching this video from? Please tell us your country or city in the comments and let us explore together. If you pull up a map of Louisiana from 1982, feral hog sightings were mostly confined to specific pockets of dense woods and isolated river basins. Back then, there were roughly 2.4 million wild hogs across the entire United States. Today, that number has skyrocketed to over 9 million nationally. In Louisiana alone, the wild hog population is estimated between 700,000 and 900,000 individuals, spreading like wildfire across all 64 parishes. Every single corner of the state, from the northern timberlands down to the southern coastal marshes, is under constant siege by these animals. Local farmers will tell you that waking up to a field targeted by a sounder of wild hogs feels like a bomb went off overnight. They do not just graze on crops, they use their hardened snouts to plow through the topsoil, flipping over heavy turf to root for subterranean invertebrates, tubers, and grubs. In a matter of hours, a perfectly manicured crop field is transformed into a jagged, cratered wasteland that heavy machinery cannot even cross. The financial toll on the state of Louisiana is staggering, reaching an estimated $91.1 million every year in direct agricultural and environmental damage. Sugarcane farmers take the hardest hit, losing approximately $14.8 million annually as hogs chew through mature stalks and crush delicate root systems. Grain, corn, soybean, and timber operations lose another $6.9 million combined. Cattle ranchers report more than $5.4 million in pasture destruction, where the upturned soil destroys grazing land and creates deep, ankle-breaking holes that injure livestock. On top of that, landowners spend roughly $5.6 million just to replant destroyed fields, along with another $4.3 million fixing broken levees, ruined drainage ditches, and severely eroded canal banks. Yet, as devastating as the physical destruction is, the biological threat under the surface is even more terrifying. Wild hogs act as mobile biohazards roaming freely across farmland and watersheds. State wildlife officials testing blood samples from trapped swine routinely discover that around 5% test positive for Brucella suis. This dangerous bacterium causes swine brucellosis, a severe infectious disease that leads to reproductive failure in animals and can easily jump to humans, causing chronic fever, joint pain, and long-term organ damage. Furthermore, these feral hogs carry pseudorabies, leptospirosis, and trichinosis parasites, posing a constant danger to domestic livestock, hunting dogs, and local water supplies. Humanity is currently standing face to face with a self-replicating nightmare that demolishes entire food chains and drains millions from the local economy every single month. Yet, nature originally equipped the American wilderness with its own powerful emergency brake to keep populations like this from spiraling out of control. The most infuriating part of this whole catastrophe is that a tragic, historical mistake by humans completely removed that natural brake, releasing this reproductive machine upon the land. To understand how we ended up in this absolute nightmare, you have to rewind the clock and look at how humans broke the delicate balance of the American wilderness. For decades, ranchers and farmers across the South viewed one predator above all others as public enemy number one: the coyote, known scientifically as Canis latrans. Whenever a calf vanished or a chicken coop was raided, the immediate response was swift, merciless eradication. Trappers set out rows of rusted iron leg-hold traps, ranchers laid out poison baits, and bounty hunters slaughtered coyotes by the thousands, proudly hanging their pelts along wooden fence lines as trophies of victory. What these early ranchers never realized was that while they were busy celebrating the removal of this predator, they were quietly dismantling the only effective natural defense mechanism the ecosystem had against the feral hog invasion. A groundbreaking ecological study published in the Canadian Journal of Zoology revealed a mind-blowing discovery. In areas where coyote populations were left alone and allowed to build stable, mature family packs, feral hogs made up a staggering 14% of the coyote's total diet. Only the native white-tailed deer ranked higher. Now, common sense tells you that a single 60-pound coyote cannot physically pull down a massive 300-pound wild boar with razor-sharp tusks. That is a death sentence for the coyote. But coyotes are incredibly clever pack hunters, and their target was never the giant adults. Their primary target was the relentless stream of defenseless striped piglets. By relentlessly hunting down these piglets during their first few weeks of life, healthy coyote packs acted as a vital ecological emergency brake. They suppressed the survival rate of young hogs long before those piglets could mature into breeding adults. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the hidden truths of the wild and want to see more thrilling survival breakdowns, please click that subscribe button right now to help support our channel. When humans launched aggressive, unmonitored extermination campaigns against the coyote, we did not just reduce their overall numbers. We completely shattered their social structure. Coyotes live in complex, highly organized family units led by older, experienced alpha pairs that teach the younger generation specialized, high-risk hunting techniques like targeting hog piglets. When hunters killed off those veteran alpha pairs, the pack structure collapsed overnight. The remaining coyote population experienced what biologists call age structure rejuvenation. Suddenly, the countryside was overrun by young, inexperienced, solitary coyotes that lacked both the physical coordination and the tactical knowledge required to hunt dangerous feral hog sounders. Terrified of getting trampled or gored by protective wild sows, these young coyotes completely abandoned hog hunting. Instead, they switched over to easier, safer prey like field mice, rabbits, and small rodents. By trying to eliminate one perceived pest, humanity accidentally removed the single predator capable of keeping feral hog offspring in check. We handed the wild boar a free pass to reproduce without any natural fear or pressure. Without coyotes patrolling the woods to eat the young, nearly every single piglet born in the swamp survived to adulthood. With that vital ecological link snapped in two, the burden of controlling this biological explosion fell entirely onto human shoulders. Ranchers and landowners stepped out into the night with shotguns and traditional iron cage traps, confident they could handle the problem themselves. But as they marched into the dark timber to face off against this invasive threat, they quickly realized they were not hunting ordinary farm animals. They were going to war against a ghost. Step out onto a Louisiana soybean farm at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the frustration in the air is thick enough to cut with a knife. For years, landowners thought they could solve this problem the old-fashioned way. They hauled heavy iron cage traps into the woods, baited them with sweet corn, and waited. They called up local friends, grabbed their trustiest hunting rifles, and drove pickup trucks along the dirt paths, hoping to catch a sounder out in the open. But morning after morning, they walked up to those traps only to find them completely empty, the bait untouched, while just 50 yards away an entire field of fresh crops had been shredded to pieces. When you sit down with population ecologists, the cold hard math behind this crisis will make your jaw drop. To simply hold a wild hog population steady and prevent it from expanding, human beings must successfully eliminate 70 to 75% of the total population every single year. Read that number again. You have to wipe out 3/4 of every wild hog in the state just to keep their numbers from growing bigger tomorrow. The actual reality on the ground in Louisiana is a massive reality check. Despite the state dropping almost every hunting restriction imaginable, allowing year-round hunting, night operations, and heavy trapping, all the licensed hunters across the entire state managed to harvest approximately 213,300 wild hogs during the 2019 and 2020 hunting season. While that sounds like a massive pile of hogs, it represents less than half of the minimum number required just to stabilize the population. Humans were not even making a dent. We were barely scratching the surface while the biological clock kept ticking upward. When traditional hunting fell flat, officials brought out the big guns. They launched high-stakes aerial gunning operations, sending marksmen up in helicopters equipped with semi-automatic rifles to sweep over the marshes. The rotors roared, deafening the swamps below as shooters peppered the open fields. It worked for a few days, but the wild hogs adapted almost instantly. You see, wild hogs are not dumb farm animals. They possess an extraordinary level of intelligence and adaptability that rivals wild primates. They possess sharp memories and learn at a terrifying speed from human mistakes. If a sounder approaches a metal box trap and just one single hog gets caught while the rest escape, every single survivor in that herd learns the lesson permanently. They will never step foot near a metal cage or smell corn bait without triggering an alarm bell for the rest of their lives. They pass that caution down directly to their offspring. As soon as humans dialed up the pressure during daylight hours with dogs, rifles, and helicopters, the hogs pulled off a brilliant tactical retreat. They completely abandoned their daytime routines. They retreated deep into the thickest, most impenetrable hardwood bottoms and cypress swamps where no vehicle, horse, or human could ever follow them. Then they shifted their entire lifestyle to become 100% nocturnal. They began hiding in the shadows all day long, emerging only under the pitch-black cover of night to feast on farm fields, silently slipping back into the dense swamp before the first light of dawn. Farmers were left standing on their ruined land in broad daylight, staring at thousands of dollars in destruction caused by an enemy they could neither see nor track. Traditional box traps were useless. Daytime hunting was a total ghost hunt. Ground warfare had officially hit a complete, agonizing dead end. The landowners realized that if they wanted to defeat an enemy that owned the dark, they had to stop looking through the dirt. They were going to have to take control of the night sky, turning high-tech military innovation into their ultimate eye in the dark. The clock hits 3 a.m. in the pitch-black Louisiana countryside, and the silence is thick, cold, and eerie. But instead of sitting helpless in a pickup truck or staring blindly into the dark woods, a new breed of tech-savvy hunters is stepping up. They flip a switch, and a high-pitched humming motor cuts through the humid night air as a sleek fixed-wing drone launches straight into the sky. Back in 2013, two local Louisiana hunters named James Palmer and Cy Brown realized that ground tactics were dead in the water. If the hogs were hiding under the cloak of complete darkness, humans had to adapt or lose everything. They rolled up their sleeves and built a custom thermal imaging drone they named the FLIR. It was a total game changer. Instead of guessing where the sounder was hiding, this airborne thermal scout soared hundreds of feet above the tree line. Armed with cutting-edge FLIR thermal infrared cameras, the drone transforms the pitch-black landscape on the operator handheld monitor into a high-contrast battleground. Cold ground, thick brush, and heavy mud appear in dark shades of gray, while biological heat signatures glow like white miniature fires. Even from 500 meters away in the sky, a FLIR thermal camera can easily spot the distinct heat profile of a feeding hog sounder, cutting right through dense forest canopy and tall corn stalks. The drone pilot sits calmly in a lawn chair, watching real-time HD video feed, pinpointing the exact coordinates, total group size, and precise direction of movement for every single wild boar in the area. If you are loving this wild breakdown of high-tech tactics versus nature, hit that subscribe button right now to join our community and never miss an episode. With eye-in-the-sky intelligence locked in, the ground team springs into action. This is not casual weekend hunting. This is a cold, calculated, military-style tactical operation. On the ground, shooters equip custom tactical rifles fitted with ATF-approved sound suppressors and state-of-the-art night vision scopes. The pilot radios direct tactical updates directly into the ground team earpieces, guiding them silently downwind, maneuvering them around terrain obstacles, and positioning them within striking distance without ever alerting the wild boars. Before thermal drones entered the picture, firing a single unsuppressed rifle shot into the dark would send an entire herd scattering in 50 different directions into the swamp, never to return. But with suppressed firearms, the sharp, deafening gunshot crack is muffled down to a dull thud. Combined with real-time aerial direction, the ground team can systematically harvest an entire sounder in a matter of minutes. As one hog drops, the pilot instantly calls out where the fleeing survivors are heading through the brush, letting shooters intercept them before they can vanish into the wilderness. It is a ruthless, highly efficient tactical leap forward. By merging thermal aerial surveillance with silenced precision marksmanship on the ground, landowners finally found a way to strip away the wild hog's single greatest defense, the pitch-black cover of night. For the first time in decades, humans held a brutal technological upper hand. But as drone engines buzz over the bayou and heat signatures flash across glowing screens, a lingering question hangs in the humid air. Can high-tech gadgetry truly wipe out a biological titan? Or is this just the opening move in an endless biological arms race where nature always finds a way to win? As the pale light of dawn breaks over the Louisiana sugarcane fields, revealing trailers piled high with harvested wild hogs, a sobering reality sets in. Thermal drones, suppressed rifles, and high-tech gear give us a temporary upper hand, but they are just band-aids on a gaping wound. The real future of this fight relies on a complex blend of science and nature, from targeted baits like sodium nitrite and genetic control, to restoring natural predators like coyote packs. This crisis leaves us with a powerful lesson about life. When we try to shortcut nature or force quick fixes without respecting the delicate balance of the world around us, the consequences always come back to haunt us. Every action creates a ripple, and true control comes from understanding systems, not just fighting symptoms. Humans sparked this invasion, and only through patience, wisdom, and deep respect for natural laws can we ever hope to heal the land. Out there in the dark swamp, those glowing heat signatures are still moving, reminding us that this struggle is far from over. What are your thoughts on how we should handle invasive species like these wild hogs? Should we rely more on technology or let nature fix itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story moved you or gave you a new perspective on our wild planet, please hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to join our community. Thank you so much for watching. and I will see you guys in the next video.